What's up, guys? This is Crypto with James talking to you today about Selfkey. Um, I actually found some interesting data that they're starting to get more people visiting the site, and that could be off of the back of some real interesting innovations in their marketplace. Um, and just from a point of pure interest, like some of the marketplace additions could be very, very profitable for a lot of people and very cheap and very useful for a lot of people. So this could have a really strong rally in the future off the back of some of the innovations in that marketplace. I also want to cover a story coming out of Bulgaria regarding Nexo, um, which, if you're a Nexo user, may be of concern to you. Before I get into it, though, if you're new to the channel, these are the first 26 coins that I spoke about on this channel. I also owned these 26 when I made this channel. Had you put in just $100 into each of these coins when I released videos about them, and then you ignored them for 2 straight years, you got on with your life, lived every day, forgot about all your investments, never sold them. If you'd have bought these in 2020, done everything wrong as an investor, never sold them, you'd still be in profit for around 10 grand, doing everything wrong. But if you just sold these coins last year like I did, when the markets rocketed up, or 2021 rather, then $100 into each would have netted you a profit of 123 grand. Very, very nice. Now, as I said, I sold all these off. These are not coins I own. But if you want to see my current portfolio, you can do. You just have to go to copymycrypto.com. On that site, I share every coin I own. I give the members real-time updates anytime I buy or sell a coin. I release videos on a daily basis talking about the markets. Absolutely nailed it throughout the last couple of months, to be fair, but particularly the last week. We've predicted the move of the markets daily perfectly. Then on top of that, guys, we have a history of success on the channel and on the site, not least of which is obviously Phantom. Phantom was a Udemy course I did in 2020 where I said it would be the best investment of 2020. Said it would 100x or more. It went up 677 times. Now, I do recommend people go through other crypto YouTubers. No one was talking about Phantom in 2020. Absolutely no one, let alone saying it was going to be one of the biggest gainers. And when I find the next Phantom, I'm going to go onto the site. I'm going to tell the members about the coin, the gains I think it can have, the percentage of my money I'm putting in, which is exactly what I do with every coin that I own. If that interests you and you want to take the work out of it for yourself, if you want to take all that deep diving research out of it for yourself, go read the site. And remember, everything that you read there, you can verify on the history of the YouTube channel. So, Selfkey. Now, currently priced at about 0.3%. Really small market cap, only about 18 million. And hit heights the past year, or certainly in the last, when it launched in 2018, it launched at like 7 cents. Only really hit heights of about 2.5 cents in the previous bull cycle in 2021. Now, I think this has potential to break previous the high of 2021. I really do. So, Selfkey is a blockchain-based identity platform. So the tech is, the point of the tech is it provides individuals, companies, exchanges, and fintech startups and banks with a platform to manage identity, oftentimes KYC. And the core team has worked on decentralized identity since 2014 across companies such as Standard Chartered Bank, BitMax Exchange, EQI Bank, and GSR. And the Selfkey wallet is just a free open source non-custodial wallet. It allows users to manage their funds as you would expect, as well as their digital identity. And you can interact with the Selfkey marketplace. That in particular is of real interest. You can do one-click apply for products such as real-world bank accounts or company incorporation and pay with the key token. Now, the key thing here is, look, KYC costs a lot of money. Usually it's a slow process, can often be unsafe, and is stored in centralized databases. So Selfkey approaches this differently by obviously a decentralized approach and with cryptographic tech. And the goal is lowering the cost, improving the security and customer experience of an identity interaction. And they're aiming to revolutionize the KYC onboarding process um, as a result. And you can see that with what has come out recently. So I'm not a big fan of identity management. I'm not a big fan of of these identity projects, and the main reason is that I think fundamentally, in the same way um, that we have issues with sort of identity generally, um, I think fundamentally these are going to end up being requirements, and I think we're going to end up having more of our information lost over the course of time as a result of these. But that's more of a sort of conspiracy-based theory, I suppose, but that's how I feel. However, this really intrigues me mainly because of what the marketplace is now doing. So you can get financial services at your fingertips with the Selfkey wallet. Soon they'll add crypto exchange marketplaces as well. But a really interesting thing that they've added is the ability to open an online bank account in an offshore jurisdiction. So you can research, prepare, and open a new company from over 12 different offshore jurisdictions. All the information is at your fingertips, which is required documents, tax rates, shareholder structure, reporting info, and more. Everything is payable in the key token and is priced against the US dollar, so you can start a new company in record time. And yeah, right now you can start creating it. You can do the self-key bank accounts via the marketplace. This is a really cool and new feature. And this actually only came out, like the news update and everything about this only came out in January, I believe. Yeah, literally 5 days ago. 5 days ago. And what's interesting here is actually all throughout December, Selfkey experienced a massive surge in terms of visitors to their site. Um, it was like they had about 14,000 people visit their site in November compared to about 38,000 in December. So I'd be really interested to see how many people are going to visit their site this month off the back of the sort of news that you can open up an offshore bank account via their marketplace. I think that there's a lot of appeal there. And if you're opening a business or you're running a business and you're starting to be successful or you're starting to or you really don't want to deal with the tax regimen in your own country, this is a really quality solution. And they've got a ton of different sort of in things that they're beginning to integrate. They've got their KeyFi as well, which they announced in November, and this is although that was 2020, sorry, but that is a DeFi aggregator platform, which is backed by Selfkey's credentials. Obviously, this is the big thing for me. I think this can see a real surge in terms of users. I also can see this being a surge in terms of like companies wanting to utilize Selfkey, because if you are streamlining a process that's immensely complicated, there's huge benefits there. Huge benefits. So they are actually starting to approach things in a really interesting way. They've got the certifiers platform as well. This was info that was released last week as well. Users of the Selfkey wallet can verify their documents with a real notary public using the certifiers platform. So you can get your documents notarized nice and quickly with actual notaries, and you can speed up your processes. And honestly, administrative tasks within a business are the biggest pain in the arse. So having Selfkey that have effectively streamlined some seriously long-winded and complex matters uh, regarding administrative documentation, that's a huge, huge plus for me. And this is clearly shifting more for um, businesses than it was previously with these sort of new features, because there's very few individuals that are going to utilize these sort of marketplace features. But if you are building a business, or if you're opening a business, or if you're expanding your business, these as features can be immensely helpful. And this is the first time where I've seen something, or this is the first time in a long time where I've seen a real different approach where where there's a really strong, unique selling point to a crypto. Um, and Selfkey have that because there is an enormous plus. And the interesting thing with the data surge and the visit and as in the visitors to the site in December is, look, December the market was flat. We weren't seeing any movement. It was real sideways. So there's no real reason for Selfkey to start experiencing a sort of surge unless unless businesses or individuals are really starting to take notice. Particularly given that the biggest news updates all occurred in January, like in the past week. Obviously, they've probably alluded to some of these in um, in their socials, but again, really cool. They've got the incorporations marketplace now as well. Um, they've got Metaproof platform, which is revolves around decentralized identity. Um, as I said, the certifiers platform. So, and that came out in December. So maybe that was the thing. But they've given updates about the offshore bank account marketplace throughout December as well. I'm really intrigued by this. In terms of like an ecosystem, is small, obviously. In terms of a grants program, they certainly don't have that up and running. Um, their roadmap is no longer available, which is not great. So there's a few things where I'm like, this is weak here, 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 here. But overall, they've got a unique approach. Now, the fact that the website had more visits than the amount of people on the watch list for Selfkey like in December both is very, very interesting to me. I'm going to be keeping a track on if Selfkey are really starting to see a surge in terms of users or certainly in terms of website visitors, because I really do think their approach for effectively becoming a business has real value, like has real value. And we've not seen anything similar in crypto in terms of uh, making a really fluid and fast setup for a business via a sort of a marketplace. So this is really intriguing to me. And his previous high was, I'm not going to include the sort of launch date, but the previous high was around sort of 2.7 cents. I can see this comfortably beating the previous high if they're getting a surge of users. And that is something that needs tracking. If they're not getting that, or if they're not marketing effectively, then they won't see that surge. But if they market effectively, if they can onboard startup businesses, if they can onboard businesses that already have a really good record, but want to start incorporating and setting up in new jurisdictions, Selfkey have a mass appeal for businesses. Um, this is what I'm watching with a lot of interest. And the key thing for me is their success comes from onboarding businesses more than individuals. And if they can start releasing data or releasing info on how many businesses they onboard on the marketplace on a month-on-month basis, you can see if there's a growth. If they don't, I can't imagine they'll do that. But even just tracking the data of website visits, even just tracking the data of wallet downloads, all of that goes a long way in terms of giving insight as to whether this can grow. But if they can onboard a lot of businesses, I don't see why this can't do something like a run up to 5 or 6 cents, because that would effectively put it at a market cap of like realistically 340 360 million as a market cap, which isn't enormous. It's not unreasonable. And if they're doing, but they have to be onboarding people. That's sort of the key thing for me. They have to be onboarding businesses or they have to be onboarding individuals. But businesses, for me, is where Selfkey can have an immense amount of growth, um, because those features are completely unique to Selfkey. We've not got anything akin to that in terms of the marketplace features anywhere in crypto. And having a unique selling point is a reason to be interested. So it's one I'm watching now, and I will be watching over the next few months and tracking the data of that. Because if that data is starting to go in the right direction, this is one that could be a big gainer. And I might be understating it because if they're onboarding, if they can onboard thousands of businesses, it could be $1 billion market cap with ease, which would be like a 20 cent, roughly 15 cents, 20 cents project, or per token rather. But right now, conservatively, I go 5 to 6 cents, probably 6 cents. Um, but very interesting. But what do you guys think? Like, if you are a small business owner, does that have a lot of appeal to you? Um, Being able to sort of create an offshore bank that fast, or get your documents notarized that fast, because that to me has an appeal. Let me know in the comments down below. And if you are a returning viewer, hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel immensely, and the videos will make you money and save you money, so you don't want to miss them. Before I get into the news about Nexo, if you guys want to see what coins are in my portfolio right now, you can go to copymycrypto.com. Like I said, on that site, I share my portfolio. I give the members all the information about the coins that I own, the percentage of my money that's in them. Anytime I add to the portfolio, I give the members, or remove from the portfolio, I give the members real-time updates immediately. We have tutorials on the site. These are for beginners. If we've got thousands of members, and some of them are, and many of them, to be fair, have never invested in anything, let alone crypto. So these tutorials help along the way. And like I've said, we've had a history of success on both the site and the channel. We've had big wins on both, not least of which is obviously Phantom, which had a huge surge of 677x from 2020 to back into 2021. And when I find the next Phantom, I'm going to go onto my site. I'm going to tell my members about the coin, the gains I think it can have, and again, what percentage of my money I'm putting in. And if you want to get the next big gainer, but don't want to do all the research, this could be for you. So go read the site, and remember, you personally can verify everything that you read on the site on the YouTube channel's history, guys. And last thing, Nexo. So crypto lender Nexo wants to sue Bulgaria after their office was raided. So Nexo has denied reports that the firm has experienced massive outflows amid office raids and an ongoing investigation against the firm. So they're planning to sue the Bulgarian government after massive raids at the company's office in Sofia. Nexo has complained about the actions of the law enforcement authorities in response to the investigation against their firm. The company is reportedly preparing to file a lawsuit against the authorities to seek compensation for damages caused by the abrupt police interruption. One report suggests the investigators did not provide a search warrant for hours, while inspectors never identified themselves. Nexo believes the raids conducted in its offices yesterday were against the law and demonstrated the total incompetence of those conducting this shameful action. Nexo also describes their actions against the firm as local Bulgarian arbitrariness, which is allegedly aimed to destroy and loot a prosperous business. They also emphasize that Nexo doesn't offer any services for Bulgarian residents due to potential issues with local government. And they've been compliant with anti-money laundering requirements and sanctions against Russia. Now, yeah, I mean, it's going to be that's going to be quite interesting, but it does have to, the Nexo is against one I've spoken about previously. Um, since everything that happened with Celsius, since everything happened with BlockFi and Voyager, I think is quite high risk to be very high risk to be with Nexo. I'm not saying they're insolvent. I'm not saying that they've done anything wrong. There's certainly not any evidence of that at the moment. However, Nexo was a high interest account. I don't think Nexo offer the same range of high interest that they previously did. However, if you are with Nexo, you are not in control of your crypto. And you might be earning, but if the platform is insolvent, which again there's no evidence of, but if the platform becomes insolvent, like Celsius did, like BlockFi did, like Voyager did, you may lose all your crypto. And again, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but these high risk accounts have proven to be problematic. My concern realistically would be um, that if the Bulgarian authorities are investigating them, presumably there is a reason beyond, potentially trying to squeeze a successful business for some more money from the government. And yeah, it's just one I'd be cautious of. A spokesperson for Nexo denied abnormal outflows to Cointelegraph. They did say the current outflows on the platform that we are seeing are normal, considering the market conditions. Spokesperson added that the outflows have accounted for 2% of Nexo's total assets under management of 2.3 billion. But remember, all those assets are under management by them, not by you as an individual if you're with them. And just be cautious because Nexo may never die or may not die this year. But I do think these high interest accounts could cause serious problems down the line. Um, yeah, just be cautious. And guys, if anyone here is watching and is part and uses Nexo, does the idea of the Bulgarian police force or whatever raiding the offices, does that concern you in any way? Or do you just think it's a standard sort of squeeze by corrupt people? Let me know in the comments down below. And that is it from me, folks. Take care. Bye bye.